Coronavirus, woman infects 71 people after one lift trip.
Here's a summary of the article.
A woman unwittingly infected at least 71 people with coronavirus after using the lift in her tower block, researchers believe. The woman had not taken the lift with anyone else, but her downstairs neighbor used it at some point after her. On 29 March, the downstairs neighbor's mother and her boyfriend, who had visited her flat, attended a party with another group of people. On 2 April, one of that group suffered a stroke and was taken to hospital. However, at this point there was no obvious connection between him and the traveler, and he was not tested for coronavirus. Researchers later concluded that the traveler must have contaminated the lift in her building. The stroke patient and his sons all later tested positive, and researchers discovered they had infected 28 people in the first hospital, including 5 nurses and 1 doctor. Researchers from the Chinese Centers for Disease Control and Prevention wrote, "We believe was an asymptomatic carrier and that was infected by contact with surfaces in the elevator in the building where they both lived."
This post received a score of 51,000, with an upvote ratio of 84%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Kinda sad, she did what most reasonable people would have and tried to stay safe, and it still blew up because of things out of her control.
This woman possibly infected one person, who then infected others who infected others. To say she infected 71 people is just wrong. You could just as easily say the person who transmitted it to her infected 72 people, or patient 0 has infected several million people.
She was responsible and isolated. I would blame the couple that went to the party instead. Couple infect 69 people by going to a party would be a better headline in my opinion.
For multiple reasons.
69 of them, to be exact.
Well, if there's one surefire way to infect each other, that would be it.
The risk of transmission via oral sex is likely very low. Unless they're going ass to mouth. And as we all know, you never go ass to mouth. I'm pretty sure that's not a rule.
At least not in my rule book.
The woman didn't infect 71 people, the woman infected one person, which triggered a cluster of 71 infected people. The interesting part, note that it isn't 100% certain that she was patient 0 for this cluster.
Also, she tested negative for the virus when she entered China and was later tested to have antibodies. Those are 2 different tests. There's no proof she hadn't already recovered by the time she got to China and those people weren't infected by someone else.
Right, she tested negative and had never once had symptoms, but because she was in the US she must be the source. Suya. There are different strains of COVID-19. Some countries can have strains which other countries don't. Not saying it's definitely from US, but it's good to keep that in mind.
Strains in this case don't mean what most people think they mean. It's still the same virus, and if you catch one of these you'll be immune to the other 13. Think of it like you have 14 copies of yourself and you go out drinking at different bars, you'll wake up with 14 yous having 14 different stories of where they went, but ultimately they all are still you. But if those yous keep going out on benders, well, eventually something drastic will happen.
So she caught it in America, flew home, and reintroduced it to an area that the virus had subsided in.
Most likely. Heilongjiang is really far from Wuhan, Hubei. My GF went there for college, it's far to the north, near Russia.
Unknown person gets first case of COVID-19 and spreads it to over 13 million people worldwide and counting.
Burn them at the stake.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.